Hi you guys, it's Sam. Welcome back to my channel, or if you're new, welcome to my channel. I feel oddly nervous to film right now. I was texting Jamie being like, what do I like talk about in videos? So today I thought we could do a chatty get ready with me. I love these videos. I always have fun filming them and they feel a lot more natural for me. So let's do that. Okay, I've already prepped my skin with my skincare. I'm gonna put on some foundation. My favorite mix lately, you guys know I love mixing my foundations, is the MAC Studio Face and Body. I waited for the day that I could be a face and body kind of bitch, and today is that motherfucking day. And Estee Lauder Double Wear Nude Water Fresh Makeup. SPF 30. I'm just gonna go ahead and apply my foundation. This is a more like light coverage type gig, which I'm all about. I feel some weird like sense of obligation to talk to you guys about what's been going on in my life. A couple of you guys might have noticed I was taking a little hiatus from social media over the past like week and a half. I'm putting Shape Tape on my face. So basically I deal with depression and anxiety and stuff like that. Some of you guys might know that, some of you not, doesn't matter. I recently just fell into like a really bad state. I'm still in it. You guys might I was never the person that was the most consistent in your subscription box. I know that. But I just kind of had a realization the other day that I, little by little, have become very disinterested in what I do for a living. When I first started on Instagram and stuff like that, I was super consistent. Like, I don't know if you guys would remember that time because it was long ago. But kind of little by little, I started off really strong. I was pretty consistent with my posting and stuff like that. And then little by little, I posted less and less, sometimes just because I was genuinely busy. And a lot of the times because I couldn't quite get my mood up to a point where I felt like I was worth filming, basically. And then on the days where I felt like I could kind of get my mood up to that point, it would be always super disappointing if somebody in the comments kind of like pointed out or thought that I was like having a bad day. I'm sure that a lot of you guys that struggle with any kind of mental illness, like the last thing you want is for people to point out that they see your sadness, you know what I mean? Or that they see whatever it is, they see your anxiety. And it's just because like we all are kind of putting on a front of like, I'm fine, I'm great, everything's fucking fantastic, dude. I fucking love my job, I fucking love my boyfriend. I've been so good on my diet. I've went to the gym 12 times this week. And so when someone's like, oh man, it seems like you're having a bad day, it seems like you're kind of sad today, you're like, whoa, how did you break my impenetrable fortress? I told you guys when I got back from Japan that I was feeling kind of like in a funk. It was literally like everything that I had never realized came crashing down on me at once. And it's just like, I've been having these kinds of weird like creeping feelings. Like recently I started kind of really thinking about like material purchases and stuff like that. And I was like, man, like who am I buying this shit for? You know what I mean? Like every time I passed like a Cartier, I'm like, oh, I should fucking get a Cartier ring. Why? I don't even like Cartier rings, but like everybody on YouTube wears them. So I'm like, I should have a fucking Cartier ring. And even like with my car and stuff, I'm like, man, I pay so much every month to lease my car. And for what? Like, it's not like anybody's seeing me in it. I'm not like, I enjoy it, but do I enjoy it enough to be spending that much money on it? Not at all. And these were things that I genuinely used to never think about. Like I really just kind of was living my life and I was super content and you know, happy and excited with where things were going. And that was kind of keeping me at this like higher level of motivation. And I've been doing social media full time for like about 5 years. And I, this whole time, felt like I had such a strong sense of self. Like I genuinely believed that I knew myself so well. I knew I wasn't that engaged in social media in the way where it drives people crazy, because you know there's people that like they obviously struggle to deal with the negative side of social media, and then there's people that are just like, they seem like fucking rock stars, like they are not bothered by it, they love it, like they love every aspect of it, super love like the fame and traveling and like all that kind of stuff, right? And I, this whole time, was just like, oh yeah, I don't even like really give a shit about that, but that's why I'll be so successful, because I don't care about numbers, so I can keep this like a job and blah, blah, blah. Like, I really had this fantasy world kind of built up in my head. And there came like this strong sense of realization where I was like, it's really easy not to care about the numbers when you're doing well. And I was doing well for a very long time, and I was super busy, and I was really excited, and I was kind of meeting all these goals and these benchmarks that I was setting for myself and exceeding them. And like, it just felt like it would never end. Like, I was like, this is going to be my life. There came a moment where like my energy level towards this industry and my career and stuff sort of started to dwindle. And so I stopped posting as much, and I started to slow down numbers wise, and I started to slow down opportunity wise, and just all this kind of stuff. And I was basically not working as hard as I used to. So obviously I was seeing that effect. It was literally like everything became so clear to me at once. And I could finally recognize how much I linked my work accomplishments to my self-worth. I'm gonna go in using Soft Glam. I know you guys probably wanna see either like a review or like a 3-look tutorial kind of thing with this guy, but I'm just gonna be using it and chatting, but I will do another video for you guys because I'm sure you guys wanna see that. So anyways, I had this realization, and I just was bawling my eyes out for hours and hours and hours. Like, it was literally probably 2 in the morning, and I'm just sobbing, and Matt's like, what is happening? But it was just a really sad and scary realization, because I get the comment all the time, like, if you can't deal with this, then why are you doing it as a job? Which is, I mean, obviously dismissive and just like shitty. But I realized how much that scares me, because the obvious answer is that if something's making you miserable and unhappy, and honestly, you guys, like, I've never in my life felt as self-conscious, and just like, I honestly have no sense of self-worth. I have no idea like who I am as a person, like what people think of me as. Like, I just, there was a time in my life where I kind of had a better sense of self, to the point where I could be like, you know what, yeah, these people are saying these things, but they don't know me. Like, they don't know me as a person, and they don't know, like, how I am with my family and how I am with my friends. And I could say that to myself and know that it was true. And now I'm at this point where like I spend like the majority of my day, I feel like I've had this exact conversation like 45 times this past week because I've been reaching out, but I spend so much of my day genuinely questioning whether or not I'm a good person. And that's draining. Like, it's tiring and it's exhausting, and I feel constantly shitty about myself. And I feel like there's no point anymore in like setting goals and all that kind of stuff, which is something that is like so much a part of my being. Like, I really thrive on the mentality of like what I'm going to do next, and what I'm going to try and create for myself, and where I'm going to go, and where I want to travel, and like just all these kinds of things. And I just like, right now, I honestly feel like doing nothing. I don't want to do anything. And I wake up every morning and I'm like, okay, I'm going to film today. And then I think about the fact that I also want to go to the gym, and I'm like, how am I possibly going to accomplish all of this today? Which, by the way, like, I know is so silly. I know that there's people that are single moms and they work 3 fucking jobs, and then they come home and they go to the gym and they cook broccoli for their kids, and they like, and I know, like, trust me, it makes me ill, because I'm so aware of like how simple the tasks that I'm avoiding really are. But I would wake up every day and be like, okay, I have to film. And then I would get overwhelmed at the fact that I was going to have to shower because I didn't want someone to comment on my hair. And then I wanted to go to the gym, and so I was like, oh, but like, how am I gonna have time to do both of these things? Like, I'm so stressed out thinking about how I'm gonna accomplish all of this in one day. And then I'm like, if I go to the gym, then I'm gonna have to go to the gym first, and then I'm gonna have to shower, and then I'm gonna have to like blow dry my hair, and then I'm gonna have to get on camera. And it's just like, I would be so stressed every day because I would hype up how much work and how much effort and how much time and emotion I would have to put into every single part of my day, that I would just be like, never mind, because I'd be in such a bad mood that, again, it would kind of feed back into that cycle of being like, oh, well, I don't want to be in a bad mood and film, and then someone points out that I'm in a bad mood, and then I'm in a shittier mood. And sorry, this is the most boring makeup tutorial ever. This literally looks like anyways, okay. No, affirmations, daily affirmations. So I had this kind of like epiphany moment where I was like, wow, I actually despise my life. And then I cried, not gently. It was like a sobbing for hours. And then I called a friend, and then I called like 4 more friends, and then I called my manager saying I hate my life and I don't want to do this anymore. And then I went to the doctor. And here's one of the key elements that really added to my quarter life crisis. For a while, I've been frustrated with the feeling of isolation. I work alone, and I am not seeing people day to day except for, you know, my boyfriend, and I see my parents usually once a week. And so it's hard. Like, it's hard to be on your own every single day and know that every single day you're going to be completely alone. And obviously it's like kick ass in the beginning because you're like, fuck yeah, I can fucking eat ramen for lunch. I think that people can do that anyways. So for the first little bit, it's like awesome because you're just at home. You can focus on your own shit. You don't have to worry about anyone else being at home. And it's like really nice. It's a change of pace. But over time, it kind of becomes this thing where like, yeah, day after day after day after day after day, you're not seeing anybody. You're not spending any time with anyone. It's just you all alone every day. Naturally, you're going to want to reach out to friends, but you realize that like you can't really talk to your friends that are leading like regular lives, so to speak, because they can't relate to a lot of what you're going through. So you're not going to call someone for, you know, relationship advice if they've never been in a relationship. So, okay, you're going to now make friends in your industry. You're gonna be friends with your peers. And then you realize that everybody is just as caught up in this as you are afraid of becoming. And the other thing is that you are tying personal relationships into work relationships. And at the end of the day, you can't expect friends to choose your friendship over their future. So an easy way to look at something like that is like, okay, yes, you and your friends all grew up together and you went to high school together, whatever, and you're best buds. But when one of your friends gets a scholarship to go to a university out of state, you're not going to be like, whoa, you're not going to continue to live where we we're breaking up the friendship. Like, you would never do that. You'd be like, dude, congrats. That's awesome. Get your ass out of state. Obviously, because we want what's best for our friends. When you enter that same logic and realism into a working relationship, it is such a different scenario. Because in work, it's so much easier for you to step on people's toes, but at the end of the day, these people are still working towards what their goals are, and they're still trying to be more successful and more happy and more whatever. And like, realistically, if they're your friend, you should be happy for them. But the problem is that when you tie friendships and work relationships and stuff like that, you just leave so much room for so many things going wrong. It got to the point where I was like, yes, I want this companionship through like these people that understand what I do, but at the same time, like, it's not worth all of these kind of lost friendships because things so easily fall through when you have working relationships with these people as well. And so because of all these kind of things that have happened, I have really pulled away from peers of mine. But I think it's gotten to the point, and I'm sure that a lot of you guys can relate to this, especially if you're kind of like growing up, is that you realize that like you don't want a ton of friendships. Like, you want a few friendships that are great and that's who you want to interact with, and you don't want to have to worry about anyone else because everyone else has proved to be an asshole so far. So what I started doing was trying to find that companionship through my followers. And again, if you're somebody who's followed me for a long time, I'm sure that you've kind of like seen that behavior in me just through like how often we would talk on Periscope and how personal sometimes those Periscopes would be and just all that kind of stuff. But I'm also like one of the fucking first people to be on Twitter, airing my fucking dirty laundry, subtweeting like a motherfucker, yelling at customer complaint accounts on Twitter, which I will never stop doing. But I've really just had my heart on my sleeve, like throughout this entire time, because to me, I was like, that's what friendship is. There's one thing that I've really stood true to throughout my entire social media career. And you might disagree with this, but me knowing me pretty well, I know I've stuck to this. And that is that I only wanted to be myself. So I only wanted to say what I would actually say, talk about the things that I felt like were important to talk about, and be open and be honest, because that to me is the kind of relationships that I enjoy. I'm not super interested in just kind of having small talk with somebody or like a friend that, you know, you don't really connect with. Like, when I've said this to so many people, like when I meet people, I'm literally like, so what's your childhood trauma? Like, I want to know everything about your life in succession. What was the most meaningful moment? Like, I want to delve deep. So those are the kind of friendships that I, you know, like to uphold. And because of that, I would be on Periscope pouring my fucking heart out, which was great. It was awesome because at first I really felt like just so connected to you guys. And I also felt like I was getting things off my chest because I can talk to you guys about things in ways that I might not talk to somebody I went to high school with. And it sounds so corny, like I am completely aware. But I genuinely was just finding this companionship and this kind of solace through my subscribers. But there's one key element to this that fucks it all up. In any relationship and friendship and stuff like that, you want to believe that anything you would do for that person, they would do for you. And everything that you are for that person, they would be for you as well. And what you feel about the relationship must be exactly what they feel about the relationship. I would be on Periscope pouring my heart out and feeling really connected and feeling really good about it and being like, this is awesome. And like, it's like I'm just talking to friends and like, oh, they're fucking old pals. This is great. And I'm picturing all of you guys watching my Periscope as like the people that I am connecting with, that I'm really getting along with, that really totally understand me and they get what I'm saying and they aren't trying to look for other, you know, motives behind what I'm talking about or whatever. They're just taking me like completely at face value. And I picture every single person that way. And so because I was like feeling so great about this, I was feeling like I had finally kind of found this like companionship that I was really looking for. It became really hard to disassociate and recognize the fact that not everyone that was watching me was like, first of all, even somebody that liked me as a person. Like some of these people are watching just because they don't like you and they want to fucking talk about you, which is fair. But then there's the people that, you know, just weren't really connecting with you and they weren't really understanding where you were coming from and, you know, they just weren't as taken by you as somebody else. So it wasn't like the friendship that I was making up in my mind for every single person. It wasn't that for them. I started to get really upset when I would see people talking about things that we had talked about on Periscope or whatever, because I was like, man, like that was between us, which is not realistic, obviously. And so it kind of got to the point where I was like, well, I can't talk about whatever I want to anymore, and I can't stand up for the things that I believe in anymore because it gets misconstrued and my words get twisted and it's somebody that's not understanding me that's talking about it. And I started to realize that I couldn't look for the friendship I was trying to find through my subscribers, which is sad, obviously. Like, I mean, I think for you guys, you genuinely feel like some of the people you follow are your friends and you know that they're not, but it just feels so real because like you feel like you connect with them so much and you feel like they get you, and that's what I felt about you guys. So it's kind of like this reverse thing where I was like, oh my god, like these girls would totally be my best friend in real life, and like that's what we feel about our favorite people. So I have high school friends that can't relate. I have peers that I can't trust or don't connect with. And then I have subscribers that I can't talk to because we never know who else is watching and I don't want my words to be misconstrued. Like, I'm not the most social person in the world, but I do know that like for the time that I'm with my friends, I'm not really worried about much else. Like, it really takes a lot to kind of knock me off of like a good mood. But like when I'm at home and I'm by myself, all I'm doing is thinking. So I'm thinking about a shitty comment that I read 3 years ago. And I'm thinking about the fact that my first boyfriend was 15 minutes late to pick me up on our 6th date. And like, I'm going back and like working myself up and getting so annoyed and so frustrated and so sad and so self-conscious. And it's like, I can't get out of my own head. And I am very much the kind of person where I don't want help. In my mind, like, I genuinely work myself up to be like, chemical imbalance? I think the fuck not. Like, I feel seriously like I can tackle anything and I can do it on my own. So like, I don't need your advice. So I don't reach out to anybody. I'm like just like walking poster child for like disastrous depression that you will never get out of because you won't help yourself. So I don't reach out to anyone because I want to do it on my own and I feel like I don't have anyone and I feel like I can't trust anyone and whatever. So I've let myself get to this really bad point, and I'm going to reference a YouTuber named Boogie here on YouTube. I don't know if you guys would watch him. I'm not sure how much like the gamer world and the beauty world is crossing paths. But in a video, he talked about, you know, people who talk down about fat people under the guise of wanting them to help themselves and stuff like that. And he basically said, when somebody feels like they have no self-worth, like they feel so worthless and so shitty, they don't want to help themselves because they don't see any point. But for me, it just gotten to this point where I feel so little about myself that I have a hard time feeling like any amount of self-care is going to be beneficial for me. So I'm kind of in this limbo of like, I don't want to work because I feel so miserable, and then I don't want to take care of myself and try to get better because I feel so worthless and so miserable because I'm not working and I'm not taking care of myself. And I know it's like the simplest thing, like showering, but I just can't do it. I know that there's people that don't like to watch videos like this because obviously it's so depressing and not enjoyable to just see people basically complain bitterly about their lives. And don't get me wrong, you guys, like I recognize I'm so much in a position of privilege. I'm so lucky in so many ways. And that is what makes this even more kind of difficult because I know how lucky I am. And I know how hard other people work to be, you know, in a much less fortunate situation. Truthfully, like even when I'm working my hardest and when I was putting in the most effort to what I did, I was not working nearly as hard as 99% of you guys are. Fucking laying on the suave thick today. That's what I've been up to. How are you guys? School going good? So anyways, yeah, I've just been taking time off and it's been really nice to wake up and not be trying to force myself to do something that I just know that I'm not ready to do. Been really enjoying not being on social media as much. I'm sorry if you guys have been reaching out to me. I tried to kind of go through my DMs the other day, but I haven't read DMs in months. And I have been really bad at responding to you guys on Twitter and exceptionally bad at responding to you guys on YouTube. But I just can't do it. But I'm working on it. I'm working on trying to talk down about myself less and talk down to myself less, pick up like healthy habits that I kind of have let go of. I've been going to the gym lots. I've been trying to read lots, but I'm just trying to take it kind of day by day and not make myself feel guilty and crappy for things, and really celebrate like every little success, even if that's just like getting up or taking a shower or whatever. So I know that a lot of you guys have been saying to me for years, you hope I'm okay and I seem not happy and all these kinds of things. Like I've been getting these comments for so long. And I thank you guys for just kind of like sticking by me and, you know, continuing to be here for me even though I haven't been consistent for you. I think you guys just caught on a little quicker than I did to what I was feeling and kind of where I was heading. Did any of you guys see Jack and Hill's closet tour? That made me feel bad about myself. That was fantastic. The part where she was like, oh, these are my pre-styled outfits. I was like, yes, I'm gonna do that with my sweatpants. I'm gonna put on a little bit of MAC Warm Soul. This is like my old formula one that is still so beautiful and amazing, even though the packaging is literally like the dirtiest and this thing pops out all the time. It's fucked up, but today's like a day where I'm like, I need a hug. And those are the days that I use Warm Soul. Oh yeah, I've been cleaning up my beauty room. I don't know if you guys can see. This plant's not dead. If it looks dead, it's really not dead. And I got this chair and I have a couple other things coming in for my beauty room. I've just been kind of chipping away at that while I've been taking my little break. I started organizing and cleaning it all and I've set it mostly up. Like there's still a few things that I need to kind of figure out. And it's been nice kind of having a room that I feel more like energized to come into because I'm a big believer of spaces and spaces that make you happy and spaces that are purposeful. Like I really feel, I posted a photo of my like kind of bedroom decor on my Twitter the other day and you guys might notice there's like no electronics anywhere. I feel really strongly about like having a place where you work and you only do work there and a place where you sleep and you only sleep there. Obviously, if you are like in a privileged enough position to have that option. But even when I lived with my parents and I was like in a small room, I would have like a desk in the corner and I only did work there. And then I would have like my bed and I only slept there. And like if I was gonna go watch TV, I'd go into like the living room or whatever. Okay, you guys, I would normally go and like blow dry my hair and look somewhat presentable for you, but I'm not going to. Anyways, you guys, thank you so much. Sorry if you weren't ready for like a venting video because this was just a venting video. But I miss you guys and I'm really just grateful for all of you guys and your support. Thank you guys so much for hanging out and chatting. I will see you next time. Let me know. Peace out. Goodbye. Goodbye.